Hello, this is Russell McGee, the director of the special presentation of the Ernie Pyle Experiment, created by Michael Brainerd. The Ernie Pyle Experiment was created from the archives of the Lilly Library at Indiana University. It is a 13-episode podcast produced at WFIU, chronicling Ernie Pyle's pre-war work as a traveling columnist for the Scripps-Howard Newspaper syndicate. The story so far: Ernie is forced to use a RCA wire recorder for his work in interviewing the people of America. Ernie's wife Jerry prompts him to write a series about his family and their neighbors in Dana, Indiana. We hope you enjoy this special presentation of the Ernie Pyle Experiment. Thank you for listening.
It doesn't matter where I go. They all get it. Prescott, it's your fault. I'm blaming you on this. They keep mispronouncing my name all the time. It's a simple name. Onanin. That's all it is. I went to the diner the other day, and the little kids were making fun of me. Kids, you know how long I've been in this business? So long that my voice gets high every time I get upset. I can't believe this. Oh, Prescott, this is all your fault. My whole name mispronunciation.
Everything is my fault.
Well, it's good that you know that now, because I have a list of things I could blame you about. But most importantly, my name.
Guys, we're on the air.
WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana, where you don't need to be an expert if you learn something new every day.
Ernie thought from time to time about how a bad son would leave his parents to fend for themselves in their old age. And from time to time, he'd hear things about his folks that made him stop dead in his tracks with worry. How close were they actually getting to not being able to care for themselves? What was expected of him when they couldn't? Who could he count on to help with such matters when that dreaded moment occurs? He knew he wouldn't get the straight story about anything by asking his mom and dad for the truth on such matters. They'd just fight back anyway. And they were pacifists.
Hello, I'm Ernie Pyle, the Hoosier Vagabond, and this is that girl who rides with me.
Apparently, I am indispensable to this operation.
Welcome to the Ernie Pyle Experiment, Episode 5. Perhaps you've heard of my father. Let's catch up with Ernie and Bobby Webster, out behind the barn, sampling the pie man's wares.
Bobby, you have outdone yourself. Whoo! My ears are ringing. Whew, if your granddad was still alive, I don't know if he'd be proud of you or chase you out of town for stealing all these cherries.
Oh, thanks, Ernie.
And I better take a few of these jars off your hand. Boy, that's a fine sipper's beverage. Bobby Webster's cherry pie.
Will $1 a pop?
Ha ha! $1 a pop. Well, I can do that.
Hey, Ernie. Well, I wanted to mention something to you before I go. I was talking to Camp Miller, and he mentioned something about his storefront window getting busted out. It seems that someone drove through it.
Yeah?
Have you seen your father's front end of his car?
Why?
It was your father's doing.
Is that a fact?
And so, you know, that people have been talking.
About what? What have they been talking about?
Ernie, look, your father's been around for my entire childhood. He's like family to me, but I still worry about him.
Why?
Ernie, is he going senile?
I don't know. I don't think so. We're all getting old, Bobby.
Yeah, sure. No, I get you, Ernie, but you couldn't possibly notice these things. I mean, you're always on the road. Do you have anyone to watch your father while you're gone?
It's early. The sun just come up. That girl's sleeping here in my old bed, here in my old bedroom. This is the best time of day to write. I just wanted to get some thoughts out here. I have some harebrained ideas going on right now. I figured if I write them down, they can be used against me as proof I'm a lunatic. So, Mr. RCA, you're getting it.
What are you doing?
I'm talking to the recorder here.
Stop clanging around. I'm sleeping.
Shh, go back to sleep. So, here goes. Well, I was walking around outside thinking about work, thinking about my folks, thinking about what Bobby said about Dad crashing his car. You know, my mind falls into a different pattern sometimes. And when it happens, I try to take notice. Colors will get brighter, sounds get specific. And if someone's talking during this, I won't even hear what they're saying. I have to remind myself to stay awake of what's happening, because what is happening, I think, is a writer in me is preparing. There's something deep inside of me noticing a thing that'll come up in a story later. It just happens. I'm not actually sure if I'm making it happen because I'm always looking for something to write about, or if it always has been there and it just may be the thing that makes me want to write every moment down. But boy, I'm not making any sense to myself. In any case, when it happens, my mind slips into this place and I could cry for no reason at all, or laugh like a crazy man out in a field somewhere all by myself. Sometimes I think I'm just wanting to describe that moment, the miracle of it, or the mystery of it. What is happening to me, what I'm really experiencing. I can't. People think I'm a loon. Hell, I think I'm a loon anyway. When I try, it always comes out as just a basic story about a thing or a person anyway, so. And I wasn't crying, really. It wasn't a real cry. I don't think I was crying because I was sad or some such nonsense. It's just something inside me alerted me to notice something outside of me. Yeah. See, damn it, now I sound like a loon.
Did you just have one of those moments? No use questioning it. Just get in your chair and write.
Yeah, I am. Here, sit up.
Oh, Ernie, I want to sleep more.
Narrow my focus here. So I wrote one about the wind, and one about the snake and the roses, and one about Mom, right?
It's a series.
It's a series?
It's easy. It's a series.
Yes, that's perfect. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. Yeah, thank you. Okay, good. That's good. You can go back to sleep now.
That's easy for you to say.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, what's next?
Dad. And now that I know it, I'm dead in the water again.
Just need to put your fanny in the chair and write.
I know. Yeah, okay. Well, give me something. How do I get in?
What'd you talk to him about last?
Nothing. We were standing at his car looking at the dent in his fender. I reached out, I touched it, looked at him, and he walked away.
So what?
Well, yesterday Bobby Webster told me he crashed into the dry goods store.
What'd Dad say?
Nothing. I told you he walked away. Now I'm juggling all these horse apples in my head, and I have to write. Happens every time we come here.
And why do we come here?
Oh, don't start that bit.
Oh, sure. I don't know anything about it, do I?
Geraldine.
Okay, I know. Well, Ernie, you think he's getting too old to drive?
Was he too old to drive back at 14 when he drove the car through the wagon shed and into the gravel pit out back?
He did not.
Oh, yes, he did.
Well, what'd he say then?
He didn't. He just left it there. Come back in the house like he meant to do it. In the morning, the car's back in the shed. The wall's fixed and painted like it never happened.
Yes.
Yeah, you bet. What isn't curious is that he can fix anything. He has a tool for everything.
Except when to fix his fender.
That's only for lack of trying. Yeah. Well, he's like that. One time when he ran for township trustee, well, his heart wasn't in that either. I asked him why he ran. He just got up, walked out of the room, same as with a dent in his fender.
Curious.
Yeah. How the hell's a guy supposed to get the bottom of anything around here anyway? So, Mom.
Yeah?
Why do you
What?
think Dad lost for township trustee?
Nobody wanted to lose him as a handyman.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he like fixing everything for everybody?
Well, no. But there's never a shortage of things breaking or walls needing paint and wallpaper. Have you ever tried to wallpaper?
No, can't say that I have.
Oh, Lord. What a mess. Now, Will can do it in his sleep. He can match up patterns and score around moldings and whatnot like it's magic. And perfect every time. I don't know how he does it. And he is fast. People pay a good penny for that.
I suppose he can make himself indispensable if he wants.
Well, yeah. And he's never in the same place over and over each day. He doesn't like that. You know, I think going out to that barn every day and keeping a farm up, that makes him anxious. And there's thousands of little things to do every day on a farm that have to get done and they never get done because of all the other monotonous everyday chores that stand in his way. Ain't that the truth? Now, in the projects, like making a chair or something that he really wants to be doing, they never happen. Never. I think being able to use the tools, though, that make a chair every day, even though he's using them for something else and not that chair, it's close enough for him. So that's what he does for everyone else.
Well, at least there's money in it.
Oh, yeah. That's what I tell the flies that keep coming in here through that hole in the screen. What? It's only funny because it's true. Now, what did I tell you? The cobbler without shoes.
Yeah. Well, I always pictured him as the man that got it all done. He's up before dawn, back after sunset.
He is. He is. But that doesn't mean it all gets done.
I feel the same way about being on the road.
Well, you and your father are more alike than you know. And I've never had to worry that either of you would have to rely on anybody else for your supper.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You know, a person falls into that trap and learns to forgive themselves for it. Well, I don't want to be around them. When you want something, you do what you have to do without relying on anybody. Now, when we were courting, your father took a job clear on the other side of the Wabash. But guess what? He came back twice a week. And that was almost 20 miles each way by horse and bicycle.
Yeah, that is some dedication. I guess we are alike.
Oh, well, don't be patting yourself too hard on the back. You aren't alike in everything. You talk more than he does.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know. Ernie, but I do know you're both bumbling fools to boot. Remember when you flipped that roadster into the ditch?
Maybe.
Maybe you'll remember when he drove the car through the back end of the wagon shed.
Maybe. Well, bumbling fools it is. Speaking of bad drivers, why do you think Dad drove through the window in town?
He told you?
Well, I saw his fender. He just told me that he did it. No details.
Well, then you know more than I do. Why don't you go ask Kent Miller down at the dry goods? I'm interested in that answer myself.
I was sitting right here with a sandwich in my mouth, taking lunch. Your father turned in the road. I watched the whole thing happen from right here. Your father turned in the road, kept right on turning, hopped the curb and right through the window. Took out my king cutter glass case, which didn't hurt the axe heads or scissors or these cute little fingernail trimmers. Ain't they cute?
Well, I'll be. They sure are, Mr. Miller.
They're the latest.
Oh boy, Keen Cutter better get you some. Keen Cutter. Ah, boy. Well, Mr. Miller, what do you think happened? Did he swerve to miss something in the road or anything?
Oh, who knows? His eyes just went wide and he grabbed that steering wheel for all it's worth. The look on his face, and I saw the whole thing from right here. It was like it was all happening very slow-like. The look on his face was like he was blaming somebody for something. You know, when he doesn't believe somebody, when they're fibbing to him.
You think I know that face?
Yeah, I think you know it.
Is it this one? The one with the lips clamped down like he's tightening fishing line on a hook?
You do know it.
Yeah. I guess. Now I'm wondering who's doing the fibbing.
Good question. Well, that's all I remember of it. Then he came right on through.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. And then he backed out, put it in park, took his toolbox out of the back seat, and without saying a word, started it working. Like he woke up that morning intending to come work here the whole time.
Now that makes sense. Making more work for himself than needs be. Dad, will you just answer me?
Why is it so important to you?
I don't know. But the more you resist, the more interested I get.
You think I'm getting senile.
No, I don't. But I do think.
But where I come from, when a man says but, that changes everything he said before it.
I come from the same place. But. Okay. Are you going senile?
I knew it.
I'm not hearing Dana. I still think I ought to be looking after you, though. I've asked you, I've asked Mom. I've also been to talk to Kent Miller down at the dry goods. Now, there is a hole in this story that I can't get filled. So sue me if I have to entertain certain thoughts about the matter.
You really think I'm losing my mind?
No. But.
Son?
Well, it's happened to plenty of folks a lot younger than you.
It's not happening to me, so stop looking for it.
Why didn't you stop the car then? Why did you drive through the window at the dry goods?
You don't think I had a good reason?
Oh, you got something against Kent Miller?
Besides charging too much for a keg of nails?
Besides that, yeah.
I don't have anything against anyone. I also don't think I owe you an explanation.
Oh, yeah? Well, then what about Mom?
She's not asking. Ernie, I live my life not owing an explanation to anyone who doesn't deserve one. It's good policy. So should you. For instance, I don't like to travel. Your mother doesn't like it neither. But we took a couple of trips because some folks thought we should. They'd say, "What's wrong with you? Why don't you want to go on vacation?" I said nothing. I don't owe them an explanation about it. But they kept on about it until your mother and I took your advice and we went. So we came to Washington.
I didn't know you didn't want to come.
Well, now you do know. And if you had known, how do you think you'd have felt about it?
Yeah. I understand. I'd have been sad about it.
You think I like making you feel sad?
Well, you don't, so no.
That's right, I don't. I also don't tell everyone here at home the story of the Smithsonian Institute giving me headaches.
That was funny. You kept bumping your head.
Funny to you. I swear the glass on those exhibits was so clear I wasn't the only one hitting my head on them. People here at home don't need to hear that story, though. I don't need to be spreading my own gossip about me being a jackass.
I get it.
Do you?
So what made you a jackass for driving through the window?
If I told you, you'd put it in the paper.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, the heck you wouldn't.
Dad, I would never do that. Jerry, listen to this.
Go ahead.
Perhaps you've heard of my father. He's the man who put oil on his brakes when they got to squeaking, then drove to Dana and ran over the curb and through a plate glass window and right into a dry goods store. My father is also the man who ran with Roosevelt in 1932. He ran for township trustee, was the only Democrat in the county who lost, and was probably the happiest man who listened to election returns that night. He couldn't think of anything worse than being township trustee. The reason he lost was that all the people figured that if he was trustee, he wouldn't have time to put roofs on their houses and paint their barns, paper their dining rooms, fix their chimneys, and do 1,001 other things for him. I guess when my father's gone, that whole neighborhood will just sort of fall down. He used to work as a hired hand way over on the other side of the Wabash River. When he was courting my mother every Sunday, he'd drive a horse 6 miles to the river, row a boat across, and then ride a bicycle 10 miles to my mother's house. At midnight, he started to reverse the process. My mother figured he either loved her or else was foolish and needed somebody to look after him, so she married him. My father's never lived anywhere except on a farm, yet I don't think he ever did like the farm very well. He's been happiest, I think, since he started renting out the farm. Ever since then, he's been carpentering and handyman all about the neighborhood. He's a wizard with tools, where other people are clumsy. He is a carpenter at heart. Once when he was a young man, my father did start out to see the world. He went to Iowa to cut broom corn, but broke a leg and had to come home. He never went anywhere again till he was 55 when he went to California to see his brother. He sat up all the way in a day coach. Later, he went to New York, so he has seen both oceans. He's a very quiet man. He never said a great deal to me all his life, and yet I feel we have been very good friends. He never gave me much advice, or told me to do this or that or not to. He bought me a Ford Roadster when I was about 16, and when I wrecked it a couple weeks later, he never said a word. But he didn't spare me either. I worked like a horse from the time I was 9. My father's now getting a little deaf. My mother says he can always hear what he's not supposed to hear. If my father doesn't like people, he never says anything about it. If he does like people, he never says much about that either. He doesn't swear or drink or smoke. He's honest in letter and in spirit. He's a good man without being at all annoying about it. He's very even-tempered. If he has one enemy in this whole country, I have yet to hear about it.
I thought he went to see your mother twice a week, and it was 20 miles each way.
You got me. Well, I don't want to make him feel like a fool.
Huh. Well, it's not half bad then.
Oh, well, you're just saying that because it's true.
I'm saying it because I'm being nice.
Oh, you don't believe it then?
Well, I could look it over. I can make it true for you.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's good, Ernie.
Thanks.
Back next time with more stories from the Ernie Pyle Experiment. I'm Dan V. Prescott, reminding you that the good road will never end if you stay on it.
The Ernie Pyle Experiment is written by Michael Brainerd with a little bit of help from the great Ernie Pyle. Ernie Pyle is played by Michael Brainerd. Jerry Pyle is played by Greta Lind. Bobby Webster is Josh Hogan. Mom Pyle is played by Kate Braun. Dad Pyle, Andrew Bowen. Kent Miller is Roy Sillings. Dan V. Prescott is played by Tim Grimm. And Carrie O'Nanan is Peter Spellos. The executive producer at WFIU is John Bailey. Writer, director, and co-executive producer, Michael Brainerd. Sound director, script editor, and co-executive producer, Russell McGee. Technical director, Brian Barnes. Foley artist, Tony Brewer. Soundscapes, Jesse Brewer. Music by Ryan Chase. Theme song by John Philip Sousa, arranged and performed by Ryan Chase and Francis Crichon. Musical assistance and additional music, Francis Crichon. A very special thanks to the Ernie Pyle Legacy Foundation, promoting the life and work of the great Ernie Pyle. ErniePyleFoundation.org. And the Media School at Indiana University. The Ernie Pyle Experiment is produced at WFIU on the campus of Indiana University. Find past episodes wherever you get your media and at WFIU.org.
WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana. I'm Carrie O'Nanan. Say it with me. O'Nanan rhymes with Montanan, James Buchanan, oxyhemocyanin, bananan. Huh? It's you, Prescott. I know it's you.